Try turning it on.
83. We are talking about this new loan changes, because I can't see the headline right now. These new loan changes. We have Mortgage Mike in here, so we're going to get started right now. All right, episode 183. We are talking about the new LLPA fee changes.
Shocking.
And the shocking changes and what real estate agents are going to tell you that you really don't want to know. Well, we have Mortgage Mike here. He's going to tell us that, because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't really know.
I am here to learn.
I am too, because I think I have it all wrong, because I was the one that was reposting everything on social media about
everybody was
about it was I think it was all Fox News stuff too, by the way.
Yeah.
Where I was like, we need to vote this out. I can't believe Biden would do this. So
thanks, Obama.
Mortgage Mike
They
is
took
here
our jobs.
to set us straight. And look, he's the real reason why this show is here, because MortgageMikeOfTexas.com is one of the main sponsors of this show. If you want to get that Mortgage Mike stamp of approval, if you're needing to get a client approved for a loan who, look, maybe they don't have so great credit, and that's okay, because they actually get better deals right now. Right, Mortgage Mike?
Sorry. I choked on my water when you said that. Sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
Yes. Or they just need to get into a house really quick. They need to get that great rate, that great loan with great service, right? Go to MortgageMikeOfTexas.com. He's also licensed in Oklahoma, so MortgageMikeOfTexas/Oklahoma.
Look, the lower the credit, the better. Seriously.
That's what I keep telling people.
Did your buyer commit some sort of white-collar crime? Send him to Mortgage Mike.
Yes.
Felonies
Messing with
wanted.
it 'cause
Yeah. I'm telling you, this is what real estate agents don't want you to hear, because they don't know what this structure is all about, and it's all over the news right now.
Everywhere.
I don't even think they know what it's all about. And so just go to Mortgage Mike of Texas. He'll tell you, MortgageMikeOfTexas.com. And then once you're under contract for that house and you're getting that Mortgage Mike stamp of approval, that pre-approved letter over to the agent, get over to Thayer & Smith with Armadillo Home Warranty. Get that hard shell protection. Armadillo.1 //TOR, TORE, so you can get that home warranty. And then last but not least is our favorite property manager, Dana Wynn with Homeward DFW. Just go to homewarddfw.com. She is implementing a brand new system that she loves, right, Brian?
Dude, we're changing the property management game. It's so much fun. I get to
Nationwide,
use
worldwide,
my dumb
universal
automation systems brain, and Dana gets to use her special brand of love and compassion and the amazing above and beyond white glove service that she provides our clients, and we're mashing our heads together every day, and it's been really, really cool. It's been a lot of fun. I'm getting like ground level again, and I'm really enjoying it.
Back to grassroots.
That's where it all started.
Yeah.
Where
So
it all began.
homewarddfw.com. And look, we need to know about this really so we can better educate our clients, because if we don't know it that well, that's probably means that our clients don't know it at all. If they're just going to hear things, they're probably going to think that if they have a lower credit score, they don't pay their bills or whatever happens, that they're just going to get a better interest rate or better deal on a loan. And if you have a higher credit score, you pay your stuff on time, you're really a good steward of your money, and you're getting screwed on this one or fleeced. So, Mortgage Mike, can you walk us through a little bit about these? I didn't even know what LLPA stands for.
So let's start with like that.
Yeah.
What are we even talking about
Yes.
here?
LLPA. Hey, thanks for having me on, by the way, guys.
Yeah, it's good
Yeah.
to see you, man.
Thank you.
I haven't seen you in forever. Me and Mike are playing hooky tomorrow, and Jesse too.
What?
I got to do a call in the morning, and then we're playing golf, boys.
I'm going straight there.
Oh man.
Without further ado, LLPA stands for Loan Level Pricing Adjustment. Now,
That sounds boring.
it's terrible. Okay. Loan level pricing, LLPA. Okay. Now, think about LLPAs. They have existed forever since dinosaurs were
Getting loans.
correct. An LLPA, we don't talk about it because it's technical jargon, right? It's just nonsense. But all it's saying is if you have a certain credit score, certain down payment, certain debt to income ratio, you get an adjustment to the pricing that's offered. It's either a positive adjustment or negative adjustment, meaning it costs more, or it's cheaper, better rate, whatever. So again, LLPAs have existed forever. That system is not new. What has recently changed, and stop paying
Jesse's wife just found out he's playing golf tomorrow.
What you talking about?
He's not going to golf. He's working.
Yeah, it's a business
Sorry to interrupt.
lunch.
Yeah, we're talking about LLPAs on the golf course.
Yeah.
So
Fuck! I'm so sorry.
You are
to
the
interrupt.
worst.
There's one other time I will forget that we needed a fourth for golf. Do you remember what I'm talking about? And this was a couple years ago. And so I called a buddy of mine to fill in last minute. I was playing golf with Jesse and somebody else, I can't remember. And then I called my buddy Ehab,
Oh yeah.
Wally's little brother. And I didn't know. I forgot that Jesse was working with him to buy a house at the
Yep.
time. And we get to the first tee, and Jesse jokingly sees Ehab. He's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He's like, "Yeah, this was the meeting I had." Apparently, Ehab wanted to see houses that day. Jesse was like, "I got a meeting," and then I invited him to golf, and then they ran into each other. They laughed. We laughed and laughed. Anyway,
And then we bought a really nice house, and
then we did.
Everybody's happy.
Exactly.
Haven't played golf since with him.
Exactly. Anyway,
So LLPAs.
I can't wait for more of these stories.
Yeah.
I'll just keep them coming as they come up.
Thank you. LLPAs have existed forever. All right. Now,
Years.
also, too, all of the articles that Nick has been sharing and saying we need to vote, Biden out of administration.
Not wrong.
Biden doesn't have the power to do this.
His choice.
Yeah, it's this is coming from Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, etc. So
That's not what the news is saying.
I understand.
Yeah.
So it's called clickbait. It's called sensationalism.
Tucker Carlson told me otherwise.
Yeah, 100%.
Didn't know we invited a left-wing extremist on the show.
So that's where this conversation always ends up going. Like, oh God, I didn't know you're such a Biden supporter. And it's like, well, I'm just trying to tell the truth, okay? Which I know in our media, there's no such thing as the truth anymore. It's just left or right. That's it. But anyways, so no, Biden did not do this, despite what the headlines will tell you. Now, also, what the headlines are telling you is if you skip your payments, you're going to get a better rate on your mortgage. And I need everybody to understand this right now, that is not something that is realistic. It never will be realistic.
Jesse, stop sending that email. Don't hit send.
Yeah.
What?
Because
If
you just had AI write
But
that whole
AI
email
AI told me
about
to
not
write
paying
it.
your bills.
if you ever truly believe that if you stop paying your bills, you're going to be in a better position for a mortgage, you probably shouldn't be buying a house,
So
right?
there
You have
are-
other issues that you probably need to deal with at that
There are
moment in time.
better ways to destroy your credit.
That
is
is
what you're saying.
Oh, well, no, that's
Yeah,
no,
car
that's a
payments.
great way to destroy your credit. Is
Yeah.
Stop paying your bills.
Right.
But he said a better way.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I still need you guys to pay your bills, because if you don't pay your bills, A, you're not getting a better rate. B, it's going to make it a lot harder for you to qualify with the recent late payments. So I need to be very clear on that, despite all the jokes that we're going to be making throughout this entire podcast. And you may chime in at the wrong time and hear me say, stop paying your bills, you'll get a better rate. And that's out of context, because I'm telling
Make
I
sure
can't wait
make
for
sure we
AI
cut
to
that
take
out of
this
the
one
clip,
apart.
please. Thank you.
Jeez, this
I'm
is
qualifying
amazing.
this right now that you need to continue paying your bills. So now that we got that qualification out the way, what has gone on is it has become more expensive for our better qualified people than it was 6 months ago. And it has become cheaper for our less qualified people than it was 6 months ago. And I'm saying 6 months. It's probably 60 days, really.
May 1st.
Yes, but the reality is it's still cheaper for our better credit clients. And I'll give you an example. If a 640 credit score versus 740 credit score were trying to buy or finance $400,000 and they were going for the same interest rate, it would cost the 640 credit score buyer about $6,000 more at closing. Okay. So not cheaper, right?
Right.
I don't know what that said. Couldn't be in my favor if you guys are telling me to read it.
It was, Theron with Armadillo Home Warranty
Yeah.
definitely just says that. Morgan Mike says if you don't pay your bills, you don't deserve a house to live in.
Not what I said. What I said is if you think not paying your bills will get you a better deal, and then you've got another thing coming.
You know what I would
So-
like to really say is that while Mortgage Mike is telling you not to pay your bills,
I just want to continue to entrap Mike.
he looks really great doing so. And that's because we got to give one extra shout out to Jesse. Because
Thanks,
Jesse's been doing a lot of work here on the podcast, making us look better. It's hard to do. He's getting some coaching tips from my brother-in-law Rick Rashawn from Four Man Furnace.
Shout out.
So there's a lot of. I mean, Jesse, you're doing a really, really good job on this.
Thanks, brother.
Because look, you don't have a lot to work with here.
No,
I'm
they
going to
don't.
tell you to make
Jeez.
Mortgage Mike look as good as you do.
I know.
I mean,
It's like
Let me
Crystal
just-
would
let me-
marry
let
him
me
all
describe
over
this.
again.
Let me to use
story.
a reference that Nick's not going to get. I'm going to paint a picture for you because you can't see the studio anymore, or like what's on the other side. This you started with such a grassroots, rudimentary sort of effort, and now sitting in my chair looks like the scene from Arrival when they first met the alien ship. It's like that's what you know. What I'm
true.
talking
You're not lying.
about,
You are not lying.
is that because of the lights?
Yes, it is. It is daunting how much light is on it. Like, if you ever been on I got hypnotized once at a comedy show, and that was the first time I'd been on a stage where the
Did it
lights
work?
are on
Was
you.
it real?
Yeah.
Was
Oh,
it
bro.
real?
I don't
ask
think
Diesel.
I don't think he's come off.
Diesel will send you. Diesel will send you the video now. He's weird like that. He keeps videos like that on his phone
sure.
Come on.
to embarrass
Entrapment.
his sons. But that was the first time I figured out knew how bright stage lights were. You can't
It's
see anything.
crazy.
I can't see anything behind these lights. I can't see your brother-in-law at all back there.
I can't either.
Yeah.
It's all dark. It's amazing.
No, but I mean that's why we were late to the show, not because the screen we couldn't see wasn't working.
What are you
know,
talking about?
Heather was like, "Oh, your face looks angry." I was like, "This is just my face."
I get that.
should know this by now.
But Jesse and Rick were over there geeking out on like camera lightings and like depth and stuff like that. So it's the same way that Mortgage Mike geeks out on these
LLPAs, bro.
Yeah.
And so
Do you even LLPA?
yeah, like
Giggity.
so going back to what you said, you don't get a better deal by not paying your bills and having a lower credit score.
Right. Despite Jesse and not paying his bills, you do not get a better deal when you miss your payments.
This is actually a relevant question. What are the variables
That's a
that
first.
do? I know, right? What are the variables that do affect like the spread for like lower credit, higher credit, and how that all changes over time? So like, what I mean, like you said, like the same loan with a 640 or like a 750, right? Like would cost a certain amount more. Like what affects that spread? What variables? Like how? Like okay, if you had a 640 and a 750 in March of 2020, would it be different than in March of 2023? And like what affects what variables affect that spread? You see what I'm saying?
Well, it would be different. It'd be the same March to March if that's what I heard you ask.
I was just
Because-
making up months, but I'm just saying at different points in time.
Let me, I suppose, answer it this way. What affects LLPAs, right? Is that
kind of? I guess what I'm asking.
so? Credit score is a big one.
Right.
Down payment, and there's a new one that's coming into effect in August. It was actually already supposed to go into effect, and this is another one that we've been fighting as well. And
You heard it here first.
in my notes that I want to talk about today. Debt to income ratio for the first time is going to start being penalized because debt to income ratio never was a problem. Now it's going to start adding additional cost.
Definitely gonna be a problem now.
So is it going to be a problem? Because before it was up to a certain threshold, and then you just don't qualify.
Yeah, that's all it was.
Is that-
It was qualify or not qualify.
Okay.
It did not affect your pricing.
So now are they saying that if you have that higher debt to income, that you could still qualify? You just might get
More expensive. The
Would-
same rate might cost $1,000 extra at closing.
Interesting.
Or a gorilla can attack you once a week.
Now,
Well, yes.
all
Was that from 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yes.
now all of this is being fought. Okay, so it's the new LLPA change, not the debt to income ratio ones, but the first set we were discussing. They've gone into effect. Now they technically went into effect May 1st, but May 1st was the delivery date. So I need to be specific on that. If you bought a home probably March, maybe mid-March, you were already feeling this in your pricing, okay? Because a delivery date is when it is sold to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
So that's not your closing.
That's
date.
not the closing date, right? So if we start a loan in beginning April, we close end of April or beginning of May, well, it's being sold after the fact, right? So it can take another 2-3 weeks to be sold. And this is the problem, is if we didn't hit them for that pricing in the beginning and it got delivered to Fannie after 5.1, then we ate the additional cost that was going to be tacked on
Yeah,
after
the
the
lender
fact.
would have to eat that,
Correct.
right? Okay,
Correct.
gotcha.
Not the servicer. They're not going to take it. They're going to pass it on to us.
Yeah.
Right. So it's already been built in. This is not new. It's just new to the public eye. But this has been discussed on the lending side.
And so then the lender adjusts, and so going forward, the buyer is going to eat that.
Correct. And it is conventional only. It's not FHA. It's not VA, USDA, anything like that.
So what is that threshold on the credit score then?
It's basically every 20 points, 640, 660, and so on and so forth. The adjustments have changed. There's a chart. He can try to pull it up, but
Yeah, I'll pull it up real quick.
it's super color coded and all that stuff. It's on mortgagenewsdaily.com. You may have to scroll down a little bit, but
I think, like, maybe from a hysteria standpoint, what we're really talking about here is that something that has existed for a long time is just becoming, like, more popular to talk about, though.
yeah.
Is that fair enough?
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, again, when we talk about pricing with clients, we don't say, well, you had this, so you had a 1/4 point hit here, and then your down payment percentage, so now it's a 1/2 point hit here. We just say your rate is this with this amount of cost. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same if you have 800 credit, they just don't tell you, like, your rate is based on, here's SOFR and LIBOR for the day, and all, like, they just tell you what the rate is.
Correct.
The question is going to be, look, you have a higher credit score, so your fee may be a little bit higher, but you're getting a lower rate, which is long term.
Yes.
Right? You have lower credit score, you're going to pay less fee, but a higher rate.
Well, I think, again, if you are 640 versus 740, and both of you are trying to get let's just use the number 6.5% interest rate, the cost for that 640 credit score person is just going to be higher. So all things being equal, it is more expensive. Now, you could build that into the rate or whatever you want to do, but no matter what, the rates and fees are higher for lower credit score than it is for higher credit score.
Well, let's get granular then, and then pull it up real quick. Okay.
Yeah, so if you're watching the podcast and not listening to the audio, so if you're watching it or you're listening to the audio replay of this one, you can just go to our YouTube channel, the Only Real Estate Podcast Worth Listening To, or to our Facebook page. You'll see that we're minute 18:44 seconds where we pulled up the chart here that talks about the changes in loan level pricing adjustments between old and new FHFA pricing structures. I didn't even know this existed, by the way.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
I've been doing this
I
almost
just-
20 years, and I had no idea about it.
Okay, well, I see.
So
this,
just for some clarification, because I saw this yesterday. So this is saying a year-over-year change for a fee increase versus a fee decrease.
Right.
The green obviously is a decrease.
Right.
For those of you who are in that variety versus the red, which is an increase.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
So here's go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, I get it. I see the chart, right? Biden has nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I guess explain to me, because if I'm looking at this chart with, like, no other information, it does still feel like I would be penalized for having better credit.
You're not. So this is the changes.
Correct.
This is not the total chart.
Correct.
So there's a second thing that shows you what
So
the
this
actual.
is also propaganda.
Hey-o.
But this is what people have run with, is that first chart he was showing and they stop here and they say, well, look, it's more expensive now for 20% down 740 credit score.
Right.
It's 0.75% in cost more expensive. And over here, at the bottom right, if you have a 620 and you put 5% down, it's 2 points cheaper. Well, no, that's not what it's saying. It's 2 points cheaper for that client.
Yeah, relative to where you would have been.
Relative to 6 months
Not
ago.
on, like, a universal scale.
But there's another chart that still shows the total LLPA for that exact scenario. And for that 625% down client, the total LLPA, meaning more cost, is still much higher than what it would be at 740 with 20%.
Absolutely.
down.
That I do understand. Yeah, I think
So
that,
basically
I think
the bridge has.
I should say this. I think the premise that people are thinking is, like, taking from the rich, giving to the poor type thing.
Oh,
and
that
it's
is
like,
what's
right,
happening.
right. And then it kind of, yeah. And
Yeah.
so I understand this isn't on a universal plane, meaning, like, it's relative to where your credit score is and where you would have been before. Even knowing that, though, I still feel like, dude, if I'm losing 75 basis points because I have a 739 credit score, like,
It's bullshit.
I'm still upset. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
You know,
I could
not gonna
drop
start-
it down to a 660.
yeah, I'm not gonna start a flash mob over it, but I'm a little annoyed.
100%.
But I would have to go down. Yes, your point rings true. Because, yes, going down to a 679 to get a 6.25% increase or a 62 basis point decrease in my fees, that would be relative to me having a 679 credit score, which would still be more expensive.
That is correct.
Which
So, yes, the premise
ultimately-
of don't lower your credit stands.
Which ultimately you don't know what that actual fee is. This is just the increase and reduction.
this is just the
of that.
variation. Exactly.
This is the adjustment period. Now, when we think about the why did they do this? Now, what they're telling us is they're trying to serve underutilized communities and first-time home buyers, and bring in people that haven't been able to purchase, bring them into the market, right? And again, now kind of tax the, I don't want to say wealthy, but the higher qualified people.
What I would really love to see is a chart or some sort of maybe pipeline or funnel on maybe the distribution of revenue created by charging people with good credit more, and how it actually helps people with lower credit or income afford homes.
I don't have a
because
specific number,
I
but
just see a chart, but I don't know where that money goes. I'd love to believe that it's going there.
I don't know the number, but I can tell you this.
It goes to America.
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which again, we're talking about conventional loans. So that's Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac when I say that. They have made it harder than ever to qualify with a 620, 640, 660, 680 credit score. So on one hand, they're saying, oh, look at us over here. We're going to make it cheaper and more affordable for those clients. But over here, we're making it increasingly difficult for them to actually purchase a home going conventional. FHA is still a great product for those clients. And yet the people who are going to use conventional, and conventional makes up about 55, 60% of the total loans, right? The people who are going to actually use conventional are being taxed.
Yeah, it's almost like, that similar argument about like, hey, I have no problem if you raise my taxes if you tell me what you're going to do with them.
So, what are loan officers? Like, there's an article that Jesse has pulled up that 27 states are asking Biden to put a stop to this, right? So what are
shut it down, Gordon?
What are loan officers feeling on this, right? Because ultimately, loan officers in this marketplace at this moment, they're feeling pain.
Sure.
Right? The interest rates are higher. Apps have been down. They've been all over the place. You've got the average profit per loan is next to nothing. So a lot of lending institutions are doing loans, but they're actually losing money.
Yeah.
So what are the loan officers feeling on this? Like what's that feedback?
Well, I'll say this. It feels like more of the same, where we just have to pay attention in this environment. I've talked to both of your teams about we need to be more open-minded now as agents, specifically listing agents, about accepting FHA offers. And the reason is I compared a scenario for a 740 credit score person, and I was saving them $150 a month by taking them FHA versus conventional. When, historically speaking, 740 credit score was all-day conventional, never thought twice about it. That's what we did. Now, obviously, it's a tough market sometimes. If you're in a competitive offer situation, historically, again, you got to go conventional, right? But this is where, with a little bit of education, showing the numbers, we can start to, just like with the 2-1 buy down and the getting concessions instead of lowering the price and things like that. It took a little time for that to set in, but it did. And now every agent's like, oh yeah, no big deal. That doesn't mean weakness; it means strategy.
Yes,
we need to change the frame of mind with FHA now, because it truly is going to be a better deal for a lot of clients.
I believe in lenders' ability to synthesize large solutions for larger problems and create products and offer solutions, like I said, to overcome whatever challenges may lie. And this is a challenge. Like, I'll tell you right now, like, I'll just put it on our Front Street on the podcast. This is a fucking dumb money grab. It just
100%.
is. It is a fucking lie, right? It is sensationalized lying that you're punishing people for maintaining good credit while lying to people with low credit that you're actually helping them. It is not true, and there'll be books written about shit like this in the future. It's also time and place. If you're going to do a dumb money grab like this, it's also like really a sort of a nod to how tone deaf the government is in the sense of like you'd be way better off with this in 2018, 19, or especially 2020 when rates were way lower because people wouldn't have batted an eye. You would have actually got a lot more activity. Credit is frozen right now, and who unlocks credit? People with cash reserves and money. Punishing them is not going to help anybody. This is a stupid game that we're playing, and so I do believe though in lenders' abilities to create products that can overcome incompetency at the highest level. And so I do believe this is a short-term thing.
Was it a purpose to drive them back to FHA?
No.
Because we did. I'm going to tell you right now.
Maybe.
Back up until a few years ago, we were heavy FHA here in DFW.
Yeah, we were
sure.
big on it, dude. When was the last time you did, like 4 or 5 out of every 10 deals, 2016 maybe? We're FHA, man. That was the jam.
Yeah, don't you remember? I mean, even when we were
Asset prices, though.
Yeah, it was the cost. So eventually, as Dallas-Fort Worth prices have increased, of course, we get to that certain point that it makes more sense to go conventional versus FHA. We saw more first-time home buyers coming out from first-time home buyers back then were using more FHA-related products, right?
Yeah.
Now you don't see that as much. Now you're seeing them into that more conventional pricing.
You may be right. I mean, how did the you might be right. Like how do those coffers get filled by more FHA loans? Maybe it is a ploy to drive more FHA traffic. I have no idea. I mean, it's such an obvious ploy, but I'm just trying to figure out what the game is.
Well, and remember they're two different organizations. Okay, but in shout out to my man Sean Curley, he did an interview with Brian Stevens on Lab Coat Agents, so I'm stealing this information from them, but I thought it was, first of all, it's funny as hell. So, back in 2008, that was our great crash, right?
I wouldn't call it great. I don't know why you would even
the great
reference it
crash
that
of
way.
2008.
Theron, that would only be true if that actual fee that you're taking pays for the PMI of the lower income people. If you can prove that that's the stream of income, then I would believe that 100%. That'd be an easy solution. That'd be an easy logical explanation.
Logic.
If that's not what they're saying it goes towards, then I don't even know what we're talking about. Sorry.
That's all right. So in 2008, we obviously had the disaster. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac was an independent institution. They were not a government-sponsored entity at that point, right?
Too big to fail.
So, 100%. So the government did step in, conservatorship, right? And now that conservatorship still exists today. Mm-hmm. They are the longest conservatorship now in existence, and they just passed the previous longest one, which, do you know who that was? Who that involved? It was a celebrity.
Oh! This will be a fun one. It had
Kanye.
to be pre. No. It had to
Britney
be.
Spears.
It was it?
Ding,
Okay.
ding, ding.
Oh, yeah,
That Free
that's true.
Britney
Yeah.
documentary.
I didn't know that
Guns N'
preceded
Roses.
2008.
Come on,
Yes.
Yeah, because that's when she's like a teenager.
Right.
Okay.
So this has now gone on longer. Now,
Guns N' Roses.
Right.
this is why it is a money grab is because the government still owns Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Yeah.
And they see this opportunity to tax the wealthy.
Well, this pays down their debt.
Yeah.
But they're not. So I'll say this. You guys have to go back and listen to that Lab Coat Agents interview because I learned
I
so
thought
much.
we were going to say this has to be a secret between us.
No.
Oh.
Because the thing is, they're not actually paying down the debt. Something about a secondary stock that was created, and they just
Something
keep
about
paying dividends.
Ukraine
and so
and
they're still in the
China
same
and-
position that they were back in 2008. They've paid back more. It was $50 billion extra to Fannie Mae and $50 billion extra to Freddie Mac, and still haven't paid down their balance. So this conservatorship, the government doesn't want to let it go because it's a cash cow. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, literally in the last 10 to 15 years, are the highest income-producing organization in the nation, more than any oil company, Apple, anybody. Okay, they generate the most income, so the government's not going to let this go. Number one, they don't want them to go to FHA; they want them here,
In the background, will you
And they're
just Google
taxing.
Henry Paulson really fast.
and they're going to keep taxing these people. That's what this is,
Yeah. I don't
right?
even-
Mind blown.
Yeah,
right?
it is. I mean, yeah.
It's amazing how what we do just leads to the next thing that we do. The reason that I wanted you to Google Secretary Paulson, you see what he's doing now. Went from Solomon to the Secretary or Fed. Where is it? What is he doing now? Just do current, early career. Yeah. What is he doing? He was a secretary. Yeah. Or not Solomon. Goldman Sachs. Go down. Just to, where is he now? No, go up. I was like career after. God damn it. After the Treasury.
This is a brilliant part of the show.
After the
So good.
I was wondering because This is what happens when
so much
we
to go
have,
through.
I don't know. We have so many opinions around term limits and things like this. Like, this is literally just Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac never being released to private companies again, still being under conservatorship. I'm sorry, like it's us continuing to exacerbate failed policies over time and continue to bleed them for everything that they're worth. And the people that put these fixes, and I would say quick fixes in the like the span of the Great Recession into place, never had things like this in mind. And we just continue as a government or society to continue to put things in place. I don't want to get on a high horse here, but like this is failed policy after failed policy, and like almost doubling down on really silly ideas that just aren't better for anybody. And that's the extent of my soapboxing today. But I was just wondering where the players and characters were at now. Oh, he's the chairman of the Paulson Institute. I want an institute named after me. That sounds awesome. Anyway.
I don't even know where to take this from
Seems
here
forced.
because that you I know you have your notes there, but it's I mean the fact that it's been as long as it has, that it is more of a money grab. It doesn't go to make things better, is what it sounds like, and ultimately that. I mean, getting behind this, the 27 states that are asking this to stop. I mean, this needs to change. Like ultimately, right now, fees cost too much. I'm going to tell you, like, I'll get on my soapbox. Fees cost too much here in Texas. Property taxes are way too high.
Crazy.
That's, dude.
And property insurance is
That's crazy. It's gone up a
going
lot.
through the roof. I mean, in
Come
Florida,
on.
it's bankrupting.
Bro.
It is making it like a place that you shouldn't even want to go and invest and own it.
That was kind of what I was going to say. Is like, this is frustrating, but the reality is, like, the LLPA is the acronym, right?
Correct.
Like, at most, that changes your payment a few $100s or whatever, which is not nothing. But man, it is just layered on top of a lot of other collisions of policy issues right now that have created a perfect storm, and taxes are one of them as well. You layer this on top of property taxes, on top of insurance. It's like, dude, a lot of people need to be asleep at the wheel to realize, like, affordability is on the brink right now in a lot of ways.
Because
man.
I don't know how it is in other states. Other states, I know that ones that have higher state income tax, they have lower property taxes. But my understanding is that property insurance is still a concern in those
Very much
states,
so.
right? Because look, we've got out of control climate change. We've got again coming back here. I mean, I just did a news segment for CBS 11 talking about property taxes that are non-homestead exemption. So that means for those that don't live here, you're non-primary residents. And I'll give you some examples. Like on my investments that I own, from a year-to-year change from 22 to 23, my property values went up 41%. That is a 41% increase in the taxable valuation. And tell me what company, business, investment that that if you increase your expenses by 41% in 1 year without you knowing that it's going to go up that much, how that survives.
And I would even I'm sorry, I would even elaborate on that just for a second. Just when it comes to development and commercial and stuff, taxes, right? That the reason that's so important and why people are so asleep at the wheel is when I have a single family residential home, my value is appraised by comparable sales, meaning my value is determined by the most relevant sales, basically by comparable properties as close to me in the shortest amount of time, right? So if my neighbor sells across the street with the exact same floor plan and all the same features, my house is pretty much worth what his house is, right? When you're talking about commercial or development or multifamily deals, your value is determined by your cap rate and your net operating income, meaning the amount of rent that you collect minus your expenses, right? And then you have a multiplier there that is your cap rate that determines your value. If you just raise the taxes and say, well, we appraised your property higher, it should be worth more, right? Mm-hmm. It's not really how multifamily or commercial properties work. In order to keep my business afloat, I would now need to pass that increased expense on in two ways. Either I would need to reduce my expenses, which means less quality of property and service. I would probably need to let the property go to shit, or I would need to substantially increase rents. And so when you're thinking about property taxes or taxes in general, understand that normally they trickle down to the lowest common denominator. And that means that the people that we're trying to provide affordable housing for will be hit with larger rents when you increase property taxes. And I made a little quip before, and I'll say it again. Just tell me what you're doing with the tax money. And then we'll have a different conversation.
Yeah, it's
right?
it's all the same, whether it's property taxes or LLPAs or, even property insurance, like of how that's getting out of control. So what is kind of potentially the fix right now? Like, I'm an agent, maybe I'm newer and I don't know what I don't know. And I'm talking to my clients, and my clients are like, no, interest rates are too high, or the cost is too high. Why should I buy now? Walk me through that.
Well, there's not a magic pill out there to answer this question. I will say this: it's almost a fear of still missing out, because while anybody listening to all of this is like, damn, this is doom and gloom. I'll never be able to buy nor rent, right? Okay, I understand. You may have to move out to BFE to get something a little bit more affordable. That's thankfully we can work remotely in a lot more situations, so that's a lifestyle that can exist a little bit more than it used to be able to. All right, so there's that. But everybody says, okay, bubble's coming, right? Bubble. This has to be a bubble. It's only bad news. Bubble's more expensive. Bubble. Yeah. There's no bubble.
They've been saying, I've been in real estate for 5 years, over 5 years now, and they've been saying the same thing.
100%.
Yeah,
The bubble in 2008 happened because there was like 4 times the amount of inventory and a third of the demand, right? Simple economics, just supply and demand. Right now, we still don't have a lot of supply available.
1.9 months.
Thank you. And so CoreLogic projected, I think we were going to appreciate this year like 3.7%. We've already done like 2.4%. We're not even halfway through, and now they've upped their projection to like 4.7%
It's going to be like
appreciation.
8.5%.
Probably by the end of the year. So the point is, it's not going to get cheaper in terms of taxes, insurance, property values. Those things are not going to get cheaper.
Yeah.
It's a new reality. So again, location may have to be the answer. Now, this is where May 10th is a good day for us, right? What happens May 10th? That's when we get the next Consumer Price Index report. We're going to call it CPI moving forward.
Yes.
It's easier to say.
Hey,
May 10th, CPI. So it's a 12-month rolling average. What happened 12 months ago, that data falls off. We replace it with this year's new data, right? So, and it reads a month back. So May 10th, we get April's CPI data.
Right.
Last April, the data was very high, thus affecting inflation. Inflation is what controls mortgage interest rates. That's why we really need inflation to come down. So high data is falling off. New low data is replacing it. The biggest issue, and don't get me started on the Fed. They raised the Fed funds rate today. We don't have enough time to go
perform
through
well.
all
he
of
started off okay, and then look right there at about 210. He said some bullshit, and we did not recover.
Yeah, that guy. He's just a lawyer. That's what kills me. He's in that position. He's just a lawyer.
He's so in over his head.
So
he
anyway,
says stuff and things happen.
So the biggest reason why we know inflation's coming down May 10th, and what that does to our market, it should be favorable. We don't know how favorable, whatever. But it's I think it's 46% of the CPI report is made up of housing costs. When I say housing costs, I mean rents. The problem with rents, if you survey somebody right now about what their rent is, they signed that lease 12 months ago, 10 months ago, 8 months ago. Exactly. So that rent is much higher than what somebody who goes and signs a new lease today, potentially. Right. So the increase of rate percentage is finally starting to come down because the data is catching up.
Right.
So that's why we know May 10th is a good day.
You're still legitimately using, when it comes to housing costs, you're inherently always using old data.
Yes.
Right.
And that's again, another conversation for another day. That's the whole Fed's problem. They're just using old data. They're just reacting to the data, the numbers on the piece of paper. They don't understand the data, and they aren't anticipating the data. The reality is, we do think very confidently rates will come down the back half of the year. Now, again, if you're listening to this, you're saying, well, awesome, I'll wait 3 months. Then it'll be more affordable.
Nope.
Wrong. Yes, the rates will go down. The monthly payment in itself, the principal and interest could possibly go down. It's possible, but you're banking on it being the same market that it is today. And as we talked about, there's less than 2 months of inventory. So when rates go down, then people enter the market that have been sitting on the sideline for 2 years. And now that limited inventory is gone, and now we're back in multiple offer situations. You have to pay over the appraised value. You have to guarantee the appraised value. So in other words, if it comes in $30,000 short, you got to cover the difference in cash on top of your down payment. It's a shitty way to have to buy a house.
It's this weird. We've never experienced. Maybe we've not. I'm only 35. I have not known us to experience these weird bouts of complete cynicism and irrational exuberance almost at the same time. It's like we think the world's going to fall apart every day, and then every time things improve a little bit, we have a tulip frenzy.
Yeah.
And it's all happening over and over in like a
Overreactions for
month
sure.
and month spans. It's so crazy.
Constant
It's like
knee-jerk
every
reactions.
cycle has been compressed.
Yeah.
Where we used to have long cycles, I feel like they're almost happening week to week right now.
We have gone buyer's market to seller's market to buyer's market to seller in literally 2 week spans,
Yes.
right? Like it flips that
Yes.
quick. It's again,
Look, last week felt like a dead market.
It felt like a frozen market.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is just some sort of tail end of technology and just a lot of information traveling really fast, but like we're seeing compression of cycles, and we're also talking about things and distributing information a lot faster than we ever have.
Well,
and
what do you
maybe
think-
this is the result of it.
what do you think the Fed raising the Fed funds rate is going to do to the public today? Right, it's going to scare them. Right, it's going to
That's where we're looking at the chart. I mean, yeah.
It's
Look, they
first-
haven't lowered it, so interest rates got to be over 10% now.
right.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
At
So,
least.
so this should be the last
16%.
Fed funds rate raise, right? They are going to have to cut it. They're going to have to start cutting because they shouldn't have raised it this time. They should not have based on the
Ooh.
data.
It's
okay?
either this or a big fishtail.
Yeah, so
because
Kevin's got a good one. So what's the silver lining for everyone?
this is a good one, and we need a hypothetical, but this isn't the
I've got one.
hypothetical. Okay, good.
I've got it. Don't worry about it.
So
Okay,
what?
I would say, by the way, before we get to silver lining, I will always stand. I am the world's biggest cynic on this show. I always stand by the fact that the time to buy or purchase real estate is when it is right for you. This is
Correct.
long term, guys. If you're ever thinking about short term variables, buy within your budget, make it work. It's always better to own real estate or really anything than to not. So I say that knowing that I feel and sound very cynical a lot of times. Make sure that you're holding real estate. You're going to be better off.
And to that point, if you poll the public and say, is it a good time to buy? You're going to get an overwhelmingly no, right? But yet we're projecting tons of appreciation.
Yeah.
So when people believe it's the absolute worst environment ever, we're still appreciating.
I project
better to own.
appreciation over the next 30 years. And I don't buy anything on a time horizon that isn't in line with my mortgage.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Right?
The end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
to be a
Nick.
jerk, but it's like
Look, I ultimately, yes.
I have a question for you. So going back to the real estate tax stuff, the homeowners tax, inventory tax. So I have a question because as the real estate investor that was quoted in CBS News
that guy's a
recently.
fucking douchebag.
I don't know, man. I don't know about this guy. So I'm curious, is there a point in the state of Texas where the state of Texas actually starts looking at real estate investors as in their consideration for taxing entities? Do they actually take consideration into almost like a homestead? What do you think?
No,
Yeah.
here's what I believe. I believe that there should, no matter what, there should be a year-to-year cap. And ultimately, think about it this way. Like if my stuff went up 41%,
Yeah.
what about commercial property? Commercial
Yeah.
property's gone up. And we want businesses, especially mom and pop, the small businesses, to thrive and do well.
Correct.
Right? Because the
Agreed.
majority of people actually work for small business owners. And if you own a commercial building and you have a triple net lease, that means that you're passing, as the building owner, you actually pass the taxes on to that business owner, the people that are leasing. Correct?
Which then extends the expense onto their clients.
Correct.
In
So-
the form of price raises.
Trickle down effect.
I feel like this is a way simple formula, though, too. Don't you? Like, what do you guys think the cap should be?
I say 15 to 17%.
It should be way less though, because think about where are taxes supposed to go? Services, right? Creating a better society. Correct. Go to the community, right? And then what is reflected in those costs, right? We're talking about roads, let's just say infrastructure, things like that. What do those things cost on a year-over-year basis, and what are the variables? Well, the variables are very simple. What does it cost to, let's just say, pave a road this year as opposed to next year? What is that variable? It's called inflation. Shouldn't the cap always just be on line with universal inflation? If you're taxing more than inflation, aren't you just stealing money from people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, ultimately, I believe that I would even be okay, and this is me just talking just because I'm feeling this pressure and this pain, right? Look, even if it was at 15%, because ultimately you can if done correctly, you can survive a 15% as a business owner or investor. You should be able to survive a 15% swing.
Well, and not to mention, so I just looking at, because I work with some rental clients also who are family friends, and they also feel the pinch of those raising rents. So if you're looking at the homeowners, aren't we only essentially passing that on to the renters?
100%.
Like what I was saying before, right? They're the ones that feel the pressure.
But
otherwise, nobody's going to have the investment property because there's no ROI.
Exactly.
And so on and so forth.
But it's delayed passing on, right? So I can't look. I can't pass it on, and CBS 11 did a great job on that segment. But they opened up with me saying,
plug the show.
They immediately opened up with me like, got to pass it on to the renters, and that's not the case. I
fucking super gotcha.
Yes. And
stop paying your bills. You get a better mortgage.
Exactly. Set mortgagemike@texas.com. But think of it this way: is like,
I think it's
all right, I know what
Oklahoma.
my property tax bill is going to be now. First off, that should never be a shock. You shouldn't just wait every year for that letter to hit, and then all of a sudden you open it up and you're like, hope it's low. Shit, it's not low.
Yeah.
And
Oh
then
my
you
God,
go into
it's
freak out mode.
40%.
That's not.
Yeah.
No one should operate.
Yeah.
The cities and counties shouldn't operate this way, and they shouldn't be doing that to the citizens that
could not
live
agree
or
more.
invest in that area.
Agreed.
And
Opening up your own private haunted house.
and it's delayed because you have renters who are in there that are on a lease, right? So ultimately, renters don't know what's going to happen. If they want to stay in that house, they want to stay in that neighborhood, they want to stay in that community. Next year when they go to renew it, sorry, renter. Sorry, tenant, I'm going to have to raise rents by $700 a month in order to offset this. Or I can forego keeping this in a great condition.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't, these things don't correlate.
Yeah, or the property goes into foreclosure and the bank takes it back, and you think they're going to take care of it?
No.
Fuck no.
No, because, and they still have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
So like what?
Come on, Greg Abbott Greg Abbott, Texas.
I think ultimately,
We're on a mission here.
I think it's ultimately the state of Texas needs to get involved. It also goes down to your county officials because your county officials are elected. To the county commissioners are the ones that can help at least get the message out. I don't see any county commissioners stepping up and having conversations about this, and this needs to be talked about and invest, because look, if you're a renter or if you don't own rental property, you're just thinking that these investors are just raking in the dough.
Dude,
There's assholes.
this is okay. Let me. Maybe this is something I've never seen. Do budgets get published anywhere?
It's got to be. I think government has to be.
They have to. Yeah, they do. Yes, I just don't know where they are.
Maybe that's, I don't know. There's some answer in there somewhere. It's like, guys, it's at a fundamental level, where does the money go? We've had this cultural thing where we just kind of accept taxes as like it's this thing we give to you, and then you raise them, and we all bitch, and it's like,
Well, it
Public
goes to schools, right? So you pay. It goes to schools.
don't we all bitch about education?
I mean, yes.
You know, it's
true
like,
story.
it's so frustrating.
I don't.
know.
Look, I don't think we ever went on the education front.
No,
No, I don't
No,
mean that.
I don't think we need to
just-
interject on that one.
I'm trying to be fair and balanced while also
Fox
observing
News.
that there are clearly two sides to the story, and there are a lot of people that definitely support tax increases. And I'm just simply asking, like, where does it go? And let's just talk about that.
Show us
Because
the
this-
dollar for dollar.
Yes, this hurts real people, and it doesn't hurt rich people, by the way.
No.
It hurts people that are trying to find an affordable, great place to live that's a quality property, right? That the owner isn't getting screwed by the government and has to pass that on to them. Like, that is the reality of this, right? It's like, this is a terrible analogy, but it's like you watch like Drugs Inc. and then you like if you were ever like hooked on coke, which I wasn't, right? Never done it. But then you watch like Drugs Inc. and then see where it comes from. You're like, oh my gosh, those poor people that do those cocoa leaves. Like, I'll never do this again. It's like when you see the source, you're like, gosh, that is so jarring, right? I just want a little accountability in that way, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The coke analogy was probably too far.
Yeah,
But that's the only one I could think of.
Nick and I were very silent during that. We were going to see where you went with
I
that.
wonder why when I said I've never done coke.
Thanks,
It's
Maddie.
called entrapment, pal.
What's up,
Don't
Maddie?
bury me with you.
All right.
I'm screwing around.
So as
Scotland now.
Yeah, as we
Yeah.
wrap this up, number one is go support Mortgage Mike. MortgageMikeOfTexas.com. Get that
Bomb.com.
Mortgage Mike stamp of approval. He'll tell you all about those LLPAs and what you need to do to get approved for a loan. He'll
Correct.
take care of your clients very, very, very well. And then get them over to Armadillo Home Warranty. Get that hard shell protection with Theron Smith, armadillo.1/TOR, TORE. And then if you own rental properties and you want to buy more, especially with all these property taxes going on, maybe we'll win the fight for you. Hopefully, as this message gets out, you're going to want to buy some properties, you're going to want to get them rented out, and you're going to want to use leverage to do so. So you're going to go to Dana Wynn with HomeWardDFW.com, the best Dallas-Fort Worth property management company there is. And look, our hypothetical.
And I think we need to plug our newest sponsor.
Yeah, I'm not
We're
doing
not
very
ready
good
yet,
job.
so don't go there yet. Don't go to tourstudios.com.
No,
don't go there.
Yeah,
It's
we're not there
finished.
yet. No.
But man, we've been doing this for a long time, and yes, it is very bright in here. There are a lot of bright lights, but this studio is incredible, and we're setting up a whole lot of more technology and places where you can create more content. So check out Tour Studios. If you want more information, go ahead. You have our information. Go ahead and message us, message Jesse, message me or Nick or the podcast group.
Yep.
Go ahead and send us a message. We're going to have the website built out relatively quickly, but Tour Studios is going to be up and running really, really, really soon. We're going to give you the ability to come in and utilize our technology, our platform to go and build your show, your content, and it's going to be pretty exciting. So if you want to build a badass podcast or some sort of other show, create content, check out Tour Studios. Send us a message. We'll have more information coming up.
Love it. I can't wait to see, especially with what Jesse's doing. I mean, just getting coached
The
up.
man.
Rich
And
in
it's
here,
the
dude.
legend.
We got like
Yeah.
professional stuff.
I mean, we'll have to pay property taxes on this pretty soon.
And look at that beard.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
I could stare at his beard all podcast.
All right, so hypothetical. Jesse, why don't you break this one down? Because I saw you searching for
You
this.
got to share
Jess,
the
move it
picture.
over to the middle so I
Yeah.
can see it better.
There's so many characters.
So Katie sent this to me, and she said this needs to be our hypothetical for this week. And it is, you're getting jumped by 50 ninjas. You can only pick 3. There's A through T, so you can do the math.
Wait. So you're getting jumped by 50 ninjas.
Yeah.
And these 3 that I'm
Let me-
picking are going to help protect me?
Yes,
Oh, okay,
correct.
all right,
They're on your side.
Okay.
Let me see if I can.
I think I saw Chuck Norris in there, so I don't think I need to pick anybody else.
I don't know that because
I'm
I was
going
thinking
John
I
Wick.
was thinking
Boom.
the same thing about John,
John
Wick.
Wick,
Do you
easy.
need anybody else? But here's the thing: John Wick doesn't win every fight. He just recovers really well.
He recovers extremely
There's a few scenes in that movie
well.
where he has to retreat.
Yeah.
He just
You
doesn't
know,
die.
I mean, because he's on his 10th fight.
That's all I'm
like
saying.
back to back to back.
That's all I'm saying.
Like,
If he has
this
to
is
retreat during the fight, you're screwed.
Okay.
John Wick is a survivor.
So let's go through this. We got Bruce Lee. We got Chuck Norris. We got Riddick.
Riddick.
Chronicles of Riddick. God, I can't remember.
They
his
call me
name.
Van Damme.
Yeah.
No. That's
Van Damme.
Chen.
Is that Crouching Tiger?
No. That's Johnny Chen or Tommy Chen. Or
Oh,
something.
from Mortal Kombat?
No.
Or Street Fighter?
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
Street Fighter.
Yeah, he's great. Rambo, Batman.
Johnny Chang.
Look at Kevin, guys.
Johnny Cage. No. Batman. But is that Affleck Batman?
Oh, that's a good question.
Affleck
I
Batman
think
gets his
that's-
ass
He's a
whooped.
pants.
Yeah,
There's no way.
that's a
No, but-
logical
no.
question.
Have you, Affleck Batman has that suit.
He
That
does
fights
have a
Superman?
really good suit. Yeah,
Yes.
he does probably the best technology.
Yeah.
I would take Bale Batman.
No, I'm
over.
taking.
Oh,
Okay.
dude,
I'm taking
I
Affleck
would.
Batman.
Kill
No, I would-
Bill.
I would
Uma
take-
Thurman from Kill. What's her
Yep.
name again?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Kill
don't
Bill.
remember.
She doesn't
Kill
have
Bill.
a first name. It's just.
Kill Bill.
I'm sorry. I just can't stop staring at the fact they have Medea on there.
I
I
do.
think
I know,
that's
seriously.
honestly.
Yes,
mean-
I agree.
John Cena.
John Cena.
Who's this weird witch lady?
On L.
So this is a Marvel guy.
Hey,
Who's
Katie,
Is that $101?
the guy next to the left? Who's the guy to the left with the beard?
I don't even know.
That's a Marvel guy.
Where?
He's
Hold on.
to the left of the witch lady.
This guy?
Yeah,
Kay?
he's a.
I don't know.
I think he's a Marvel guy. Isn't he a Marvel guy?
No.
Yes. He's got a Netflix show.
I think he's an actor, but he's like a
That's
real
Jai
Martian.
Michael White.
Yeah.
Is who that? Oh, is it just him as a human? Fuck yeah,
must
dude!
be.
I'll take Jai Michael White.
Yeah,
just
must
the
be.
actor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Beatrix Lestrange, Medea, Jason Statham, and pretty much fucking anything.
That's my doppelganger.
Is he Transporter Jason Statham?
Ah, dude, that's a good question.
Who is? Oh, is that Ben Affleck?
No, that's
new-
Punisher.
That's the new
Punisher, dude.
from
That
the
guy.
show.
That dude can get
Oh,
shot like
man.
50 times and still make it.
Yeah,
What?
that's true.
What?
Yeah.
We got Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan is pretty solid. I mean, pretty much anything. that
I'm
he
probably
does.
taking Scarlett Johansson. Just
just
you know.
because.
I mean, if
I
you're gonna
don't
go
need her to
down,
fight.
if you're
That
gonna
is-
go down,
yeah.
right.
I mean, she
The
could fight
Karate
me.
Kid.
Yeah.
Okay, John Wick, Mike Tyson.
Does John Wick have all his guns?
I would imagine
but
he's
that
coming.
question
he's
goes for a
got
lot of these
to.
guys, right?
It's got
Yeah.
to.
Batman's useless if he doesn't have his
I
technology.
would just
right?
assume
Like,
it's the purest form.
Oh, then John Wick,
Batman with
and then
technology.
Al
Riddick.
Pacino from Scarface.
Riddick, because he's like
Yeah.
superhuman.
Yeah.
And then probably the Punisher, because that dude,
Yeah.
I mean, that dude can take a, like, they're all going to focus on him.
How many fights has he gone through where
And
he's
lived.
just gotten destroyed and then he lives
Yeah.
and moves on?
He just goes to that AA meeting and
Which
then
one?
recovers.
yeah.
Punisher.
The
Punisher.
Punisher.
Oh, dude, I loved that movie.
Yeah.
Not that version, but the version
original
with
one?
Yeah.
what's his name?
I don't. Yeah.
Tom Jane.
Yeah.
yeah.
That
I
actually
liked
was
that
really
one.
good.
That was a really good one.
Yeah.
I liked that.
This
movie
one,
a lot.
this one here is not the movie version though.
That's
No,
the-
that's
the
just a
show.
show, and he was unreal.
Very good.
I'm not taking Tyson because Tyson, like, he's got to get up close.
Yeah.
And those dudes will just do like flips over him.
That's
Yeah.
and I think the ninjas have swords and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyson's too much of an inside fighter.
Besides her being incredibly good looking, Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Very acrobatic.
yeah. I mean, she's a superhero.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Do you know
That's
who
true.
my superhero is?
Yeah.
Mortgage Mike.
Oh,
Mortgage Mike
LLPAs,
of
bro.
Texas. MortgageMikeOfTexas.com.
Fair enough.
Baron Smith. Armadillo.1/Tore Tore.
I'll take
Tore,
3 John Wicks.
Tore Studio. TORE Studio. And
Yeah.
then Dana Wynn.
Lee.
HomewardDFW.com. Just go to HomewardDFW.com. And you go find us online. I mean, Jesse's doing some cool stuff on the YouTube channel, The Only Real Estate Podcast Worth Listening To. He's doing some cool stuff on our Instagram, Only RE. I think it's Only RE Pod.
Yeah.
POD. And then, of course, find us on Facebook, all those normal stuff. So,
Katie said L was Jet Li.
It was Jet Li. That's
What?
what, that's what we were thinking of.
Yep.
I said Johnny Cage.
Yeah. Finish him. All right, Jesse. I guess we'll get us out of here.
Take
We don't know
this
how
out.
to end
Take
shows
it-
anymore.
Yeah, we don't end them.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for watching. We truly appreciate it. Checking out another episode of the Only Real Estate Podcast Worth Listening To. If you're watching this on YouTube, please go ahead, hit that share button, hit that like button, and hit the subscribe button. Right? We're dropping more stuff on YouTube constantly. If you're on iTunes, leave us a review, please. We're really focused on building up those reviews so we can get more searchable content on there. And if you're on Facebook, like everyone else is, go over and search The Only Real Estate Group Worth Being a Part of. You're going to want to go join that group. I'm telling you right now, there's so much gold in there. So go join, share us on YouTube, and leave us that iTunes review, please. Go do it right now. We'll see you on the next show.